as the 3-2. Line down the right field line. That's a fair ball, and that'll one-hop the wall. Perez will stop into second with a leadoff double. Florida defeated Lexington National, the host squad, 4-2 yesterday. Georgia also with a solid 5-2 win after leaving the bases loaded for Mississippi in the bottom of the sixth on field number 11 yesterday. Rafael Betancourt, the left-handed batter, also the shortstop, coming to the plate. The catcher behind home plate, Gardner, looking for the sign as time is called. You can find out all of our scores, brackets, team information via the DYBWS mobile app, which you can find on either the Apple App Store or Google Play. First pitch called, strike as the count at 0-1. Our umpires at home plate: Ricky Tucker of Phoenix, Virginia; Mike Steele of White Oak, Texas at first base; Timmy Ward from Dothan, Alabama at third as a ground ball right side and through for a base hit. Rounding third, Perez. No throw will be made as Florida takes a 1-0 lead.
Now batting, number 13, Erwin Kabaka.
So a single and an RBI for Betancourt as Erwin Kabasa steps up to the plate. Timmy Ward, our second base umpire, and Damian Hopkins of Gaston, South Carolina, the third base umpire. Pitch on the way, low and away for Metters, 1-0. Dario Melendez is on deck. This is our last game of the night here on field number 9 as the 1-0 low and away, 2-0. We'll take a look at some finals here in a moment from other games. As the 2-0. Fastball outside corner, strike one. Trip in DYB Majors, Florida edges Lexington 9-7. And a final also in Majors play as North Carolina shuts out Georgia 8-0. 2-1. Outside 3-1 as going to second on the loose ball will be Betancourt. Just underway in the top of the first inning. Florida, thanks to a double for Perez and a Betancourt single, lead 1-0. The 3-1. Lined, a fly ball rather into left field. That will be caught by Stevens for out number 1. Remaining at second will be Rafael Betancourt. Dario Melendez, the pitcher, to the plate, the cleanup batter for his first at bat of the ball game. Part of this West Volusia National AAA State Championship squad out of Florida. Melendez, 11 years old, 5 foot, 100 pounds, as he will take for a called strike at the knees. Change up as the count goes to 0-1. Wind and the pitch from Metters. That is high as the count goes to 1-1. Metters delivers. Swing and a high fly ball into the gap in right center field where Wilkerson and Swan go at it, but it's Swan making the catch and then air-mailing it to the third base dugout. But not far enough for Betancourt to advance home, as that'll be a fly out to right, 2 away, with Betancourt moving up to third on the play. Colton Privet, the first baseman, to the plate. He was the starting pitcher yesterday for Florida in their 4-2 win over Lexington. Time is called, as we'll have the Georgia head coach come out, Danny Swan, and have a conversation with our second base umpire. Danny Swan, the manager, Chip Metters, and Cook, the assistants. Riley Cook, the other assistant. So after that conversation is taken care of, Colton Privet will step up to the plate and swing and miss at the first pitch for strike one. So far you've had a double, an RBI single for Betancourt, then a couple of flyouts to left and right. 0-1, swing and a grounder. That's off of Metters as he knocks it down and then throws from his knees in time. Good job of concentrating for Metters, the pitcher. He was able to absorb the line drive and then have the presence of mind to pick up the baseball and throw to first base. So Florida gets off to a good start in the first inning. Could have gotten more as they leave a runner at third. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and a runner left at third. We're through a half inning of play. Florida 1, and Georgia coming to bat on JockJive Sports. Time to flip the lineup card over as Florida with the first run of the ball game at the top of the first inning. James Hardy with you. Receive scores, view brackets, teams, and much more with the DYBWS mobile app. Download today from the Google Play and Apple App Store. Go to dybws.org for more information. Jesse Swan, the right fielder, will lead off for Georgia, followed by Colton Esposito, the shortstop. Devin Murphy, the second baseman. Ty Metters, the pitcher, in the cleanup spot. Trey Cook batting fifth will be at first. Trevor Boutin will be the third baseman batting sixth. Cole Gardner, the catcher, batting seventh. Batting eighth in left, C.J. Stevens. Batting ninth in center will be T.J. Wilkerson. Daryl Melendez will wind, and his first pitch is fouled back by Jesse Swan. Reed Morris batting 10th. Seth Stargell batting 11th, and Preston Presley will bat 12th. Left-handed pitcher on the right-handed batter as we'll go over the Florida defense here after this 0-1. That's outside, 1-1. It'll be Coppin in left, Maples in center, and Verdi in right, your outfield. Cabasa at third, Betancourt at short, Ogilvie at second, and Privet over at first. Perez behind home plate as the 1-1 from Melendez. Fouled back to the screen, 1-2. Already one final as North Carolina edges Virginia 2-1 as North Carolina got a run in the bottom of the sixth inning with 2 outs. 1-2. High with the fastball, 2-2. We mentioned the DYBWS app. We'll go ahead and take a look at that and take a look at some current scores around the Lexington Sports Complex as the 2-2. Lined right into the glove of the shortstop, Betancourt, for out number 1. Rafael Betancourt perfectly positioned shortstop for out number 1. It was South Carolina in AAA action eliminating Mississippi by a score of 12-7. So South Carolina and North Carolina will face off on field number 11 at 5:45 tomorrow in a loser's bracket game. Pitch is grounded up the middle and through for a base hit for Colton Esposito. Esposito with the first hit for Georgia today.
Now batting, number 8.
Devin Murphy, the second baseman, will come on up to the plate. Mississippi advances in loser's bracket in the O-Zone game 10-9 over North Carolina. So they'll advance to play at 3:30 in the O-Zone World Series on field number 8 tomorrow. Devin Murphy will take the curveball as off of first base is Esposito as he's caught in the rundown. Esposito trying to get back safely into a base, as he will, as he hangs in there just long enough. And the Florida infield just can't quite execute and finish off the rundown. Oglesby was the last one to have the ball, but Colton Esposito was able to survive the rundown as the count goes to 1-0. A fortunate break for Georgia as they still have a runner at first. Melendez gives a line drive off of the glove of Cabasa at third. That trickles into left. Murphy with the single, back-to-back singles, has two runners on for Georgia with one out for Ty Metters, the pitcher. Also in O-Zone action, it was Lexington over Texas by a score of 9-7. So Lexington advances as they'll face Mississippi at 3:30 in the O-Zone World Series over on field number 8. We're in the first game underway in the 8 o'clock games. As the winner will face Alabama tomorrow in the AAA World Series. The loser will play at 5. Will play tomorrow in the loser's bracket game. Stretch and pitch is inside. 1-0 the count. Ty Metters at the plate. Lexington National and Arkansas going at it in a little bit on field number 11. 1-0. Two runners on, one out, 1-0 Florida, bottom of the first inning. Changeup misses outside, 2-0. Give credit to Ty Metters in the top of the first inning. He gave up the first run of the ball game with a double and a single, but retired 3 at the jam while minimizing the damage. Melendez comes set, 2-0. Fisted to the right side, 2-1. This is the 60th anniversary of Dixie Youth Baseball that originated right here in the Palmetto State and has since spread around throughout the Southeast. Overcast skies says this game should be able to get in without any weather issues. There is a 50% chance of rain overnight into tomorrow morning. Foul tip at the plate for Metters as he is even in the count, 2-2. Daryl Melendez getting the start. We saw 3 runners combine for the win yesterday for Florida over Lexington National. One away. Runners at first and second. Esposito at second. Murphy at first. 2-strike pitch almost hits Metters as the count goes full at 3-2. This should be a good ball game. Florida, one of the most talented teams here in the World Series, maybe the most talented team. And Georgia, a pretty good squad themselves. Here comes the 3-2. Swing and a looping liner into left field for a base hit as getting the go-ahead around third, Esposito. Throw coming home is up the line as Georgia ties it up at 1 apiece. To second, Murphy. Ty Metters with an RBI single, scoring Colton Esposito from second base. Good two-strike hitting for Metters as Melendez got his full count pitch almost in on the hands of Metters as the Georgia pitcher had to muscle it into left center field. Trey Cook, the first baseman, the left-handed batter, will pull back on the bunt and take outside for strike 1. (0-1) the count. Once again, 2 runners are on base. Now we're tied up at 1 in the bottom of the first inning. Swing and a bouncer off of Melendez as he'll knock it down. Goes to third and just does get the lead runner, Murphy, at third. So 2 away on what will be a 1-5 fielder's choice. To second base, Metters, and Cook at first for Trevor Boutin, the third baseman. Winners bracket games across the Lexington Sports Complex as we have the Florida head coach coming out and checking on his pitcher Melendez. Jason Ogilvie, the head coach. George Quinones and Justin Privet, the assistants. Field number 8 tonight in the Ozone World Series, Florida against Louisiana, and in the Majors World Series, field number 10 in the winners bracket game, South Carolina and Mississippi. So Melendez was a little bit shaken up as he'll be allowed some warm-up pitches. We're tied up at 1 in the bottom of the first inning. The Dixie Youth Baseball World Series, the AAA division, 9 and 10-year-old division, here in Lexington, South Carolina. Next year, it'll take place in Laurel, Mississippi. And they've also decided the 2017 host, and that'll be west on I-20 in Oxford, Alabama. Almost a good 5-hour drive west from here in Lexington to Oxford, Alabama. First pitch to the third baseman, Boutin, will be taken low and inside on the fastball. 1-0. 6 batters have batted for Georgia in this inning as they have the go-ahead run at second base. Georgia wearing their red tops with the dark blue sleeves. As Boutin will take for also the dark blue numbers and letters in the white trim, along with the dark blue undershirts, the white bottoms as well. The 2-0. Fastball, that's high, 3-0. Georgia's done a good job so far of being patient in this inning. Esposito did swing on the first pitch and Murphy on the second pitch, but Metters worked a full count. Swan a 2-2 count, and now a 3-0 count for Trevor Boutin. Wind and the 3-0. A swing and a line drive foul right field side. Florida wearing their customary camo tops, camo looking tops. The seafront tops as they have some black as well as some aqua blue. Have the big F logo on the right side of the tops, along with the navy blue and also aqua piping on the pants. 3-1 is strike at the knees as the count goes to 3-2. Certainly Florida has the most flamboyant outfits of any of the teams here at the DYB World Series. 2 outs, runners go on contact. The payoff pitch. Swinging a fly ball into right field. It's Verdi going out, and he'll make the catch in the gap to retire the side. Georgia ties it up, however, as they get a run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. We're tied up at 1 as we are through 1 inning of play in the winner's bracket game for the DYB AAA World Series on JockJive Sports.
Defensive substitution. Number 7, Preston Presley, is now in right field. Now batting, number 23, Carter Ogletree.
Carter Ogletree will lead off the top of the 2nd inning for Florida. Defensively for Georgia, Preston Presley will become the first defensive substitution into right field. First time around the batting order for both teams, all 12 roster players will bat, and also all 12 roster players have to get at least 1 inning in defensively. Wind and the pitch for Metters. That's low for ball 1. It'll be Ogletree, Kyle Maples, as well as Christian Quinones due up in the 2nd inning. Good early start to the game as both teams scored a run in the 1st inning. 1-0 low and away on the off-speed pitch, 2-0. Had an exciting ball game in the losers bracket game on field number 9 earlier today. North Carolina scored a 2-out run in the bottom of the 6th inning to defeat Virginia 2-1. 2-0. Changeup at the knees for strike 1. The winner of this ball game will play Alabama tomorrow in the only winner's bracket game scheduled for tomorrow at 8 o'clock right here on field number 9. The 2-1, that will miss low, 3-1. Wind and the pitch on the way. Just inside for ball 4. Leadoff walk for Carter Ogletree as he is the 2nd straight leadoff batter to reach base for. Andy Perez doubled and later scored on the Rafael Betancourt single an inning ago. So Kyle Maples, the center fielder, he'll swing and pop up the first pitch that lands foul 3rd base side. Lexington National and Arkansas should be underway, and if not, they'll get underway in a few moments. The 0-1, that will miss low and in. Already South Carolina defeated Mississippi 12-7 to advance and play North Carolina at 5:45 on field 11 tomorrow as we have time called. As your count at 2-1. I have to say this probably will be the best game of the night on any of the fields. A talented Florida squad facing a pretty good Georgia squad themselves. Here comes the 2-1. In there. And they'll say a called strike 3. So the last pitch was a foul ball. And a well-timed curveball for Maples as he gets the backwards K on Maples. 1 out. Ogilvy still at first for Christian Quinones. Quinones whiffs at the fastball for strike 1. Quinones had that home run cut, but good location for Metters on his fastball. Wind and pitch. That'll get away to the backstop as it's slow. Advancing to second will be Ogilvy on a wild pitch, making the count 1-1. The Florida roster has 4 11-year-olds. As the pitch for Quinones is fouled back to the screen. Christian Quinones, 10 years old, 5 foot, 110 pounds. We'll see Nick Morissette later in the lineup, 5'7", 100 pounds, and he's only 10 years old. If he has a growth spurt in him, I can't wait to see what he is, how tall he'll be when he's about 15. 2-strike pitch, swung on and missed with the curveball. So Quinones goes down swinging, 2 outs, 2 strikeouts for Metters as Jonathan Coppin, the left fielder, will stand in. Coppin, his first at-bat of the ball game. Metters will take his time and now deliver on the outside corner with the changeup. Ty Metters, the pitcher, in his second inning of work, 1 out away from keeping Florida scoreless in the second and also keeping the game tied. 0-1 is high, 1-1. Outfield straight away for the Georgia D. The 1-1. Low and away, 2-1. On deck is Ryan Verdi. So here comes the pitch. That is low. Count goes to 3-1. Runner at second base in Ogilvy. The Metters pitch. That's low. Check that, it was 2-2, and now a full count at 3-2. Florida has a chance to retake the lead as the payoff pitch is swung on and fouled off at the plate as we'll have another 2-strike pitch upcoming. Here comes the 3-2. Swung on and a check swing and a miss as Metters strikes out the side after giving up a leadoff walk. So Florida goes down in the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a runner left on base as we're through 1.5 innings of play. Your score tied up at 1 on JockJive Sports.
Reminder, fans, no flash photography, please.
Defensive substitution for Florida as Jacob Hoppy will come into left field for Jonathan Coppin. James Hardy with you. We're in the bottom of the second inning of a 1-1 ball game. Both teams scored a run in the first inning. Florida just left a runner in scoring position in the top half of the second inning. Cole Gardner, C.J. Stevens, and T.J. Wilkerson due up for the Georgia State champions. Melendez, the lefty pitcher, winds and delivers a bunt left side, a good one that will just go foul. Heads up play for Gardner at home plate as he let the ball go foul, and that was his only play that he had because Gardner was going to get to first base on a possible throw. So 0-1 the count. Good strategy, though, for Gardner because, hey, against a talented Florida team, you'll do anything you can to try and get a lead when the opportunity presents itself. 0-1 misses low. The AAA state champions for Georgia out of Troup County, the Troup County National Squad. 1-1. Left-handed pitcher on the right-handed batter. Melendez winds and deals the 1-1. Lined on one hop to the first baseman Privet, who will calmly step on the bag at first for out number 1. So 3 pitches for the first out of the inning. C.J. Stevens, the left fielder, will take his turn at the plate. T.J. Wilkerson also scheduled to come up in the inning. Wind and pitch. Swing and a foul ball back to the screen. The Troup County National squad against the Volusia West squad. C.J. Stevens at the result, 4'11", 90 pounds. The 0-1. Swinging a weak ground ball to Privet at first as he'll have to hustle over to the bag, and he just gets to the first base bag, sliding in just ahead of Stevens for out number 2. Didn't have the aid of Melendez coming over, so that was the only play that Privet had, and thankfully for him, he was just able to use his wingspan, and in this case his legs, to get to first base. T.J. Wilkerson, the center fielder, batting right-handed, will try and get himself on base as there's no one on for Georgia. Bottom of the second inning. Pitch, right down the middle, a fastball. 0-1. Georgia held on to defeat Mississippi last night, 5-2. Crushed Virginia 12-0 on day 1. Swing and a miss at the 0-1 as Melendez 1 strike away from his first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. Wind for Melendez. His 0-2. Curveball, a beauty for strike 3. There's nothing T.J. Wilkerson can do about that pitch. As Georgia goes down in order, a 1-2-3 inning for Dario Melendez. As Georgia retired in order, we're through 2 innings of play, no runs, hits, errors, and nobody left on base. Tied up at 1 as we go to the top of the third in the DYB AAA World Series on JockJive Sports.
number 8. Now playing third, number 19, center field.
Receive scores, view brackets, teams, and much more with the DYBWS mobile app. Download today from the Google Play and Apple App Store. Go to dybws.org for more information. Going into center field for Georgia defensively will be Seth Stargill, and at third base, Reed Morris. As Georgia will have completed their defensive assignments at the end of this inning. So for Florida, it'll be their 10, 11, and 12 batters. Verdi leading off as he'll take a little bit low from Metters. 1-0. Ty Metters so far has pitched well, allowed only 1 run to Florida as the fastball outside 2-0. Top the third inning, tied up at 1 as both teams scored their lone runs in the first inning. The winner faces Alabama in a winner's bracket game at 8 o'clock right here on field number 9. The 2-0 high for ball 3. Tomorrow we'll only have 3 games total in the AAA World Series, 2 on field 9 and 1 on field 11. Then after Tuesday, the rest of the games on field 9. The 3-0, a batting practice fastball that's in there for strike 1. Wednesday's semifinal games, the loser's bracket game at 5:45 and the winner's bracket semifinal at 8 o'clock. 3-1 is strike. Now the count's full at 3-2. Ty Metters has struck out 3 in a row, 1 strike away from making it 4 in a row. The payoff pitch, swing and a bouncer to the third baseman, and Morris who will field and makes the throw to first in time. That's a good way to come off the bench defensively for Reed Morris as he ranged to his left a couple of steps and then made the throw to first for the out. Jacob Hoppy, the number 11 batter, will get his turn at the plate. Hoppy came in defensively an inning ago into left field. Now getting his first crack at the plate. Swings and misses at the changeup in the dirt, 0-1. Hoppy, the right-handed batter, winds, does Metters. He'll miss just outside, 1-1. Jacob Hoppy, 10 years old, 5 foot, 100 pounds. The right-handed batter. Only one left-handed batter in the lineup, and that's the pitcher, Melendez. There's Hoppy. Will stay ahead and go ahead rather in the count, 2-1. Metters winds, misses outside, 3-1. Nick Morissette on deck. The 3-1. Fouled back to the screen. Count goes full at 3-2. So Georgia has met their defensive requirements. All the teams have to have every player appear defensively and offensively. It's a line drive that gets in the gap, and that'll go all the way to the wall. Hoppy to second. He'll slide in with a 1-out double. 3-2 is left right over the middle of the plate, and Jacob Hoppy deposits it in left center field. Nick Morissette to the plate. We mentioned in the last inning, one of the tallest players out here at the Lexington Sports Complex, just 10 years old, but 5'7". He's only about a few inches shorter than I am. And I'm 3 times his age. Well, give that about 5 inches, but still, for a 10-year-old, that's still pretty close to a normal-sized adult as far as height goes. Off-speed pitch outside corner to Morissette from Metters as the count goes to 0-1. Wind and the pitch. That's bunted right side and foul. Be interesting to see Medders in a 10-year-old game of basketball at the gym or out on a street basketball court. I'm sure he probably still would like to jack up the three and maybe be the point guard in a pickup game. 0-2. High 1-2. Outfield playing straightaway. Infield playing back at all positions for Georgia. 1-2. Good stop by the catcher Gardner. That'll even the count at 2-2. Ryan Verdi, Jacob Hoppy, and Nick Morissette have worked the count well so far, as this time Morissette will swing and miss at the 2-2 for strike 3. 2 away, top the order for Andy Perez, who has doubled and scored Florida's lone run in the first inning. The right-handed batter will try and give Florida their second lead of the game. Top of the third inning, tied at 1. Fastball low for ball 1. Hoppy still at second base. Medders getting his sign from Gardner. The 1-0. Change up for a strike, 1-1. We mentioned the way Florida's batters have worked the count. Already 4 full counts for Florida batters in this game. And time is called. Our first game, a low-scoring ball game, and so far this one picking up where the last game left off, another low-scoring ball game. The 1-1, swing and a bouncer to the right side. Murphy will field, throws the first in time. As Georgia escapes the inning defensively, Florida gets a 1-out double, but Hoppy stranded at second. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base as we go to the bottom of the third inning on field number 9. The DYB AAA World Series up at 1 between Florida and Georgia.
Defensive substitution for Florida. Number 34, Christian Quinones in left field.
We go to the bottom of the third inning for Georgia. Tied up at 1 is Reed Morris, Seth Stargill, and Preston Presley will get their first at-bats of the ball game. James Hardy with you. This is our final game of the night on field number 9. 1 more game for field number 11. In fact, 2 more for them for the rest of the tournament. As Lexington National, the host team, facing Arkansas in an elimination game. They should be getting underway here shortly. As stepping up to the plate, Morris, the designated hitter, one of the 3 designated hitters, all the bottom 3 batters in the lineup for Georgia. First pitch from Melendez, that's bunted foul to the right side, 0-1. The Georgia State champions out of Troup County, Georgia, that is on the western border of Georgia with Alabama. Same county with LaGrange, Georgia, on the Chattahoochee River, and also West Point, around West Point. The 0-1, that's grounded foul, rather hit foul as the count goes to 0-2. Troup County about an hour and change from Atlanta, about an hour and a half or so. Also about an hour and a half from Montgomery, Alabama, as the 1-0 is, the 0-2 rather, is taken high, 1-2. Here comes the wind. 1-2 from Melendez. Low and in. 2-2. Georgia and Florida battling so far to a 1. The 2-2. Swinging a slow grounder to the left side as Cabasa cuts it off at third and throws to first in time. It's the only play that Florida had to be able to make the out as Reed Morris grounds out to the third baseman, Erwin Cabasa. 1 batter, 1 out for Seth Stargill. His first at bat of the game. Stargill, the center fielder, normally the center fielder, 4'5", 72 pounds, 10 years old. Melendez's first pitch is outside as the count goes to 1-0. Preston Presley on deck. So at least according to my count defensively now, Florida with Quinones in left, just 1 player away from meeting their defensive requirements. 0-1, that'll come in, and that they'll say is a foul ball. Stargill turned around to bunt, tried and pulled back. He says that his will have time called as our home plate umpire ruled the play foul on the field. We'll have the first and third base umpires come over with our home plate umpire Ricky Tucker to discuss the last play. Damian Hopkins and Mike Steele in this discussion, and now Timmy Ward will join the rest of the 3. The initial ruling was a foul ball, and that will remain the case. Pitch was inside, however, according to Tucker, Stargill was still offering at the pitch, and the count will go to 0-2. Dario Melendez will not have to make his next pitch because time is called. Lights are on all across the Lexington Sports Complex as nightfall has descended on Lexington, South Carolina. Curveball of beauty for strike 3, and Stargill knew it.
Now batting, number 7.
That's the type of curveball you'd probably find during high school baseball season at Lexington High School during March and April. That's 2 up, 2 down for Preston Presley. Presley, his first at bat. We're still tied up at 1 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Wind and pitch. Not bad location, but it misses low. 1-0. Nobody on base for the Troup County National squad. And time is called as stepping off the rubber will be Melendez. Presley batting from the right side against the left-handed pitching Melendez as he delivers outside on the fastball. 2-0. Dario Melendez has allowed 3 hits, all in the first inning. Has not walked a batter yet and has struck out 2. Melendez has retired 6 in a row as the 2-0. Misses high on the fastball as the count goes to 3-0. On deck is the number 1 batter in the lineup, Jesse Swan. Time called at home plate. Deadlocked at 1 between Florida and Georgia in the winner's bracket game. Fastball is way inside, knocks Presley to the ground as he'll reach first on a 2-out walk. Just the first of the game for Melendez. Jesse Swan, the leadoff batter, lined out softly to short his last time up. We'll have time called. Gives us some time to take a look at scores from around the complex. As Alabama and Georgia go at it in the O-Zone world. Florida and Louisiana also squaring off on field number 8. Alabama and Georgia on field number 7 for the O-Zone game. Fastball, that misses inside and almost hits Swan, 1-0. In the Majors World Series, field number 11 between Lexington and Arkansas, and Florida and Georgia on field 9. And that winner's bracket game. The 1-1, rather the 1-0, that's called a strike and is now 1-1. On deck is Colton Esposito. Melendez with the curveball, that's in there for strike 2. 1-2 the count. Two outs. Runner at first base. The 1-2. Swung on and missed with a curveball as Melendez gets a pair of strikeouts. And the strikeout of Swan will end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a runner left on base for Georgia. We're halfway home, tied up at 1 in the AAA DYB World Series on JockJive Sports.
Attention, Georgia, you have met all your substitution requirements. Now batting, number 24, Raphael Betancourt.
Flipping over the lineup card. Rafael Betancourt, Erwin Cabasa, and Dario Melendez will be the three due up for Florida in the top of the fourth inning. We're halfway home, tied up at 1 in the winner's bracket game at the DYB AAA World Series. First pitch low as the count goes to 1-0. Ty Metters still on the mound as he will have to take the 36-hour rest if he wants to pitch again in the tournament. So he cannot pitch tomorrow since he's already pitched one pitch this inning. He has gone 4 innings. Winner faces Alabama at 8 o'clock on Field 9 tomorrow. 1-0 from Metters, low and away, 2-0. It's been a defensive struggle for both teams. Neither team has scored since the first, but a line drive down the left field line, fair for Betancourt as he'll round first, going into second. Stevens had some trouble getting the ball out in left field, as that'll be a double for Rafael Betancourt. Erwin Cabasa to the plate. Cabasa flied out to left his last time up. Line in the pitch, that will be stopped in the dirt by Gardner, 1-0. Tied up at 1. There's a runner in scoring position for Florida. Pitch from Metters. That is low for ball 2. Dario Melendez on deck. Metters quickly works and he'll get the changeup that's swung on and missed by Cabasa. Erwin Cabasa had a good relief outing yesterday against Lexington National. That was a low-scoring ball game with a 4-2 Florida win. The 2-1. High with the fastball, 3-1. Rafael Betancourt with his second hit of the ball game earlier in the inning. He's at second. The 3-1. Swing and a high fly ball deep into right center field, and that is over the right field fence for a home run. 2-run homer for Cabasa as Betancourt scores, and Cabasa coming around to score makes it 3-1 Florida. But a couple of stars besides that homer for Cabasa as he retakes the lead for Florida, as we will have time called, and looks like we might have a new pitcher. And we will have a new pitcher for Georgia as we will take the time out and give you that new pitcher here on JockJive Sports.
Number 19, Dario Melendez.
Dario Melendez to the plate as Erwin Cabasa unloads the bases with a two-run bomb to right center field. As Florida leads 3-1. Trey Cook, the new pitcher, the left-handed pitcher for Georgia, as his fastball will sail high to Melendez. Dario Melendez, the starting pitcher for Florida. Only left-handed bat in the lineup for the Volusia West Nationals. Melendez takes outside corner for strike one. Colton Privet on deck. Wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss at a fastball. Big cut that time for Melendez as he swings through the fastball, 1-2. Pitch on the way. Swing and a slow roller over to first base. It'll be Metters now at first, tagging the bag at first. First out of the inning. Nobody on base for Colton Privet. Florida won a low-scoring ball game yesterday. Also won a close 7-5 game over South Carolina on Saturday. So they've been used to these close score type of situations. Now, this is nothing new for them. As Georgia needing to limit the damage, already giving up 2 runs and giving up the lead. Fastball low to Privet as the count goes to 1-0. Volusia County around the Orlando area of Central Florida. 1-0. Away with the fastball, 2-0. Carter Oglesby is on deck. Pitch from Cook. Cut on and missed, 2-1. Either Florida or Georgia, the winner of this game, will face Alabama tomorrow at 8 o'clock, right here on field number 9 for what should be quite an exciting quarterfinal game. 2-1. Low and away, 3-1. So 3-1 on the way. Fouled off back to the screen. Makes it a full count at 3-2. As we get into tomorrow, we'll remind you about some of the bracket rules for the last couple of days, especially when it concerns the championship game. The 3-2. That's low for ball 4 as Privet will reach first base on a 1-out walk. So if we come to a situation after game number 21 on Wednesday where 3 teams have 1 loss, the team having played the most games will receive the bye in the championship game. If 2 teams have played the same number of games, they will draw for the bye, and the same thing if there were 3 teams with the same number of losses. First pitch to Oglesby as he'll take for ball 1. Takes the fastball for strike 1. Privet at first base. 1 out. 2 runs have already scored on the Erwin Cabasa 2-run right center field. Cook's pitch, high, 2-1. A golden opportunity for Florida to extend on a 2-1, on a 2-run lead. As a swing and a foul tip goes into the glove of Gardner, 2-2. The 2-2 fouled off into the screen, out of play. One other game here in the AAA Dixie Youth Baseball World Series as Lexington National and Arkansas playing an elimination game on field number 11. The 2-2 as Looped into left field. That will fall for a base hit. Rounding second with a big turn, but going back in will be Colton Privet. A single for Carter Ogilvie, as that is his first hit of the game, second time to reach base. Kyle Maples to the plate as he struck out against Ty Metters in the second inning. Ty Metters officially went 4 innings. He pitched into so we'll have a pinch hitter now for Florida as Jacob Hoppy will come in for Kyle Maples. Fastball gets away from the catcher as that'll allow the runners to advance to second and third. 1-0 on Hoppy. I was about to say that Ty Metters actually pitched to the first batter in the 4th inning, so he will not be able to pitch for the next 36 hours. The limit for pitchers in this DYB World Series, 3 innings in a game, and also 15 innings for the entire tournament. The quick conference for the infield disperses. Hoppy with a chance to drive a couple of runs in, still just 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. One and one. The pitch. That's low. 2-1. On deck is Christian Quinones. Two, 1 taken, 3-1. Backs against. They're down 2 with 2 runners in scoring position for Florida. Bunt right side, a safety squeeze is coming as they'll have the runner between home and third as the throw back to third is in time to retire Privet rather. Good presence of mind for Cook, the pitcher, to field the ground ball. He bobbled momentarily but did not lose his composure as he still tracked down the runner. And Privet was able to chase him back to third and then toss to his third baseman for the out. So that will be a fielder's choice 1-5 on the putout, retiring Privet for out number 2. As holding at second was Ogilvie, and now Hoppy at first base for Quinones. Swings and misses at the 0-1. As Georgia 1 strike away from limiting the damage. 2-strike pitch. That's inside, 1-2. Jonathan Coppin is on deck. The 1-2. Swung on and missed at a curveball to end the inning. So the side is retired. However, 2 runs score on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. 5 left on base in this ball game for Florida, but the Cabasa homer gives Florida a 3-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning on JockJive Sports.
Defensive substitution, number 42, Nick Morissette, third base.
A pair of substitutions for Florida defensively. Coming into third base will be the reserve Nick Morissette. And moving from third to the pitcher's mound will be Erwin Cabasa. So Cabasa looking to shut the door on Georgia. We're in the bottom of the fourth inning, but almost what you would consider a lengthy closing situation for West Volusia National, the Florida State champions facing Troup County National, the Georgia State champions. It'll be Colton Esposito, Devin Murphy, and Ty Medders due up, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Georgia. James Hardy with you. This is our final game of the night on field number 9. We'll have 2 games tomorrow, 2 games Wednesday, a championship game Thursday morning, and if necessary, another game Thursday afternoon. Three to 1 Florida with the lead as Esposito will take the fastball low. Colton Esposito singled and scored Georgia's only run in the first inning. Here comes the wind from Cabasa. 1-0. Swing and a pop-up foul behind home plate. Erwin Cabasa, 11 years old, 5'1", 100 pounds. For Colton Esposito, also 11 years old, 4'5", and 87 pounds. Wind and the 1-1. Chopper foul behind home plate, 1-2. Georgia, an older squad, has just one 9-year-old on their entire roster. The 1-2. Weakly rolled to the left side where Morissette will not have a play. Colton Esposito took an outside pitch and hit a weak ground ball to the left side as Morissette, having played back, had no chance to retire Colton Esposito at first base. So 2 for 2 for Esposito tonight. Devin Murphy, the first baseman, also 1 for 1. As the tying run now on at the plate for Georgia. Still some baseball left, but we are in the bottom of the fourth inning. Wind and the pitch. Back on the fastball. Last night of Florida's trio of pitchers, Erwin Cabasa had by far the strongest arm. We saw that late in the game with the 4-6-3 double play against Lexington, the 0-1. That's high as he goes with the curveball. Ty Medders on deck for Georgia. Here comes the 1-1. Swing and a high pop up to the left side. Going out will be the shortstop Betancourt as he'll put it away for out number 1. Ty Medders, 1 for 1 today. Drove in the only run for Georgia in the first inning. Medders represents the tying run in the ball game. The difference so far has been the Erwin Cabasa 2-run homer in the top half of the fourth. Georgia trying to come back as we're past the halfway point. First pitch for ball one. Winner faces Alabama tomorrow night on field number 9 at 8 o'clock. Center bull shading the opposite way as the 1-0. That's outside on a fastball. 2-0. Infield playing back, looking for a possible double play. The 2-0 low and away, 3-0. So Georgia is a pitch away from putting the tying run on. It's been a back and forth game as Florida took an early 1-0 lead in the first, but Georgia tied it up in the bottom of the first. 3-0. That's low as Metters reaches on a 4-pitch walk.
Now batting, number 5, Trey Cook.
Trey Cook, the pitcher, to the plate as he is 0 for 1, grounded into a fielder's choice to Melendez, the starter, in the first inning. Time is called as you'll have Perez, Cabasa, and the rest of the infield coming in for a discussion. But that was indeed a quick meeting as we'll have time called, and now the head coach for Florida in Jason Ogilvie. He'll come on out. Earlier today on field number 9, North Carolina advances to face South Carolina with a 2-1 win over Virginia, while South Carolina defeated Mississippi 12-7. Both of those games in losers bracket games for the AAA World Series. Meeting breaks up as we're about ready to play ball again. Other finals so far in the books. In the Ozone World Series, Mississippi edges North Carolina in an elimination game 10-9. Lexington over Texas 9-7 as those two teams will face off in a elimination game tomorrow. First pitch, a strike called to Trey Cook as he's ahead in the count, behind rather 0-1 to Erwin Cabasa. Runners at first and second, the tying run at first, 1 out. Pitch from Cabasa. Fastball low, not far away enough to get the runner to third, but now the runner caught in the rundown as he'll get to third, and getting to second on the errant throw will be Metters. Esposito was caught between second and third, but the shortstop Betancourt threw it away, threw it low past Morissette against the third base dugout. So a single can tie it up. Still 1 out as Trey Cook represents the go-ahead run for Georgia. Florida, one of the most talented teams here at the DYB AAA World Series, as we'll have a pinch runner come out for Georgia. It'll be number 19, Seth Stargill. He'll provide some speed out at second base and now represents the tying run. One and one the count on Trey Cook. 2-1 as the fastball gets away, but not quite far enough for Esposito to head home. So Florida took the lead in the top of the fourth with an Erwin Cabasa homer. Now Cabasa trying to hold the lead. Tying run at second, the 2-1. Low for ball 3. So Georgia is 1 pitch away from putting the go-ahead run at first base. Still bottom of the fourth inning, Florida up 3-1. The Cabas's pitch, swinging a grounder through the left side. That'll score one. Getting the brakes applied at third base will be the pinch runner and Stargill. As going to second on the throw will be Cook. Give Trey Cook an RBI single. He'll move up to second on the throw. The tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second, as it's now 3-2. Florida still leading. Trevor Booten, the third baseman, 0 for 1 as he's flied out to right. A hit could give Georgia their first lead of the ball game as a swing and a grounder knocked down by Privet as coming home to score. And here comes the run around third. And he's out at the plate is Cook. So the pinch runner Stargills ties it up. Reaching first base with an RBI infield single, Booten, to tie it up at 3 as Cook trying to score the go-ahead run thrown out at the plate on a 3-1 putout. So 2 outs, runner at first for Cole Gardner, who grounded out to first unassisted his last time up. Cabasa with the pitch, fastball high, 1-0. This has been one exciting ball game so far, as neither team has been able to wrest control of the game away from the other. Cabasa stands tall on the rubber. He'll wind and deal. Sharp fastball in there on the inside corner, 1-1. Outfield play, the 1-1, high and in, 2-1. On deck is C.J. Stevens. Two away in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here comes the 2-1. Swing and a slow roller to Morissette. He'll cut it off and drops the ball. The inning continues on the E5 as Gardner to first and Booten to second base. So the go-ahead run at second for C.J. Stevens. C.J. Stevens grounded out to first, his only time up in the 2nd inning. Wind and the pitch. That's a fastball outside. 1-0. 7 batters have batted in the inning for Georgia. 2 runs have scored. As we'll have time called for head coach Jason Ogilvie to come out, as he has not crossed into fair territory. As Erwin Cabasa has struggled so far in the bottom of the 4th inning. Gave his team the lead in the top of the 4th, but has allowed 2 runs as Georgia has once again tied it up. Georgia has not had a lead in the game. Florida has led twice, but Georgia, each time that Florida has scored in an inning, has responded with the exact same amount of runs as in the top half. 1 run for both teams in the 1st, and now 2 for both here in the 4th. So Cabasa will stay on. The go-ahead run in Trevor Booten on at second base. Cole Gardner at first. So Stevens will stand tall. Will take the fastball low. 2-0. Georgia has been feisty so far tonight. They have not given up, and they have played toe-to-toe with a talented Florida squad as a foul ball and an inside-out line drive makes it 2-1. Lexington National played a similar type of ball game. They were tied up at 1 halfway through before Florida scored 3 runs about this point in the ball game to take a 4-1 lead and end up winning 4-2. The 2-1. Fastball low, 3-1. And remember, with 2 outs, the runners go on contact. And Georgia so far with the momentum as they have tied it up at 3 with a pair of runs. The 3-1. That will come back, and that hits Stevens on the upper back. So the bases are loaded. Would have been ball 4 anyway. So Booten to third. Gardner to second. TJ Wilkerson has a chance to give his team their first lead of the ball game, as he's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. So Wilkerson will come up for his biggest at-bat of the DYB AAA World Series. Georgia won by a score of 12-0 on day number 1. Virginia. They won yesterday 5-2 against Mississippi in a winner's bracket game. Wind and Cabas's pitch. Fastball low for ball 1. So Erwin Cabasa has experienced a few control issues so far. A walk to Metters, 3-1 single to Cook. Also a 3-1 hit by pitch against Stevens, and now behind 1-0. The 1-0, right down the middle with a fastball to even the count at 1-1. Booten at third, Gardner at second, and Stevens at first base. Infield playing back up the middle. The 1-1. Swing and a miss as that'll get away, is coming home from third. Booten, he slides and is tagged out at the plate. Booten got a late start off of third, and that cost him from possibly giving Georgia the lead, as that'll be a 2-1 put out at the plate to retire Booten. And in the inning for Georgia, they tie it up with a couple of runs on 3 hits, an error, and 2 left on base. So we're through 4, tied up at 3 on JockJive Sports.
Attention Florida, you have met all your substitution requirements.
Jonathan Coppin, the number 9 batter in the lineup, to the plate as we're in the top of the 5th inning. Knotted up at 3 apiece. James Hardy with you. This is a winner's bracket game in the DYB AAA World Series. The winner will face Alabama tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Fastball will come in as it'll be Cook, the left-handed pitcher, missing inside. Off-speed pitch will hit the inside corner for strike 1. Trey Cook in his 2nd inning tonight. The 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Just underway in the top of the 5th inning. Fastball high and away, 2-2. So it'll be Coppin along with Perez and Betancourt. The 3 due up for Florida here in the 5th. 2-strike pitch. High on the 2-2, now 3-2. Erwin Cabas to right center field to give Florida a 3-1 lead, but Georgia tied it up in the bottom of the 4th. Off-speed pitch high as Coppin reaches on a walk.
Now batting, number 11, Andy
Coppin
Perez.
so far with a strikeout and now with a leadoff walk as Andy Perez to the plate, doubled and scored in the 1st and grounded out to 2nd to end the 3rd inning. Wind in the pitch for Cook, taken high for ball 1. Florida in a position that if they can execute the little things here, at least at the very worst, can put themselves in a position to take the lead. Bunt shown and pulled back on the fastball, 2-0. It's about moving base runners and then capitalizing with a base hit, trying to play the small ball game for Florida. (2-0) in there for strike 1, so 2-1. We had a 1-run win earlier today on Field 9 for North Carolina with 2 outs in the 6th inning. A bunt right back to Cook as he'll throw to second. That's in time to gun down the lead runner. 1-6 on the putout as Coppin is retired. Big out for Georgia as that cuts down Jonathan Coppin as Florida cannot execute the sacrifice bunt. Rafael Betancourt 2 for 2 with a RBI single and also a leadoff double his last time up. Wind and the pitch. That misses low for ball 1. Count it 1-0. The 1-0 misses for ball 2, so your count now at 2-0. On deck is Erwin Cabasa. Now Betancourt up 3-0 in the count. Trey Cook, the left-handed pitcher, trying to work out of what could be a jam as the changeup in there for strike 1. 1 out. Runner at first. 3-1 low. As that'll be ball 4. Betancourt to first base. Perez to second. Almost an identical situation to the 4th inning, where Erwin Cabasa homered with Betancourt at second base. And now he'll have a runner on also at first, along with a runner at second, 1 out. As Cook fires the fastball for strike 1. Outfield straight away. Another key at bat for Florida is their best power hitter at the plate. Cabasa takes outside, 1-1. 1-1 with 1 out. Wind and the pitch. Swung on and missed at the changeup, 1-2. Timely change of pace for Cook as he got Cabasa off balanced and swung and missed. The 2-strike pitch. Swung on and missed on an identical pitch. So Cabasa strikes out. Strikeout number 2 for Trey Cook.
Now batting, number 19, Dario Melendez.
2 away for Dario Melendez, who's 0 for 2 to right and a ground out to first. Go-ahead run at second base for Florida. Pitch from Cook. Curveball inside, 1-0. Looking at the weather radar as the 1-0 in there for strike 1. There is some rain off to our west as the swing and a weak grounder in front of home plate as throwing to first base will be Gardner for the out. And the inning comes to an end. So that does it for Florida in the top of the 5th inning. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. Going to the bottom of the 5th inning, still tied up at 3 in the AAA World Series from Lexington, South Carolina for Dixie Youth Baseball on JockJive Sports.
Pitching change, number 24, Rafael Betcourt. Now batting, number 15, TJ Wilkerson.
TJ Wilkerson to the plate as he was at the plate when Trevor Booton was thrown out at home trying to score on a possible wild pitch as a bunt left side will fall foul. Hit into fair territory, and then the English brought it into foul territory. James Hardy with you. Rain off to our west, but we are in the bottom of the 5th inning, so there is a possibility that we still could get this ball game in before the precipitation comes in. It'll be Wilkerson, Swan, and Esposito due up. As a grounder, that goes off of the new pitcher in Betancourt as the throw to first is still in time. To the fielder that time, and that was
Number 11, Jesse Swan.
for Florida and Andy Perez that was able to deflection and get Wilkerson out by a half step at first base. So 1-6-3 on the putout. One away for Jesse Swan as Betancourt will fire, and a swing and a foul ball to the right side. 0-1. It's a good play by Perez to be able to field the deflect and then get enough strength on the ball to retire Wilkerson. 0-1 misses for ball one. Jesse Swan still looking for his first hit as he lined out softly to short and also has struck out. Wind and the 1-1. That's slow with the fastball. 2-1. Nobody on base, one out. Bottom of the fifth inning, tied up at 3. The 2-1. Swung on and missed on a fastball. 2-2. Colton Esposito is on deck. Wind, and here comes the 2-strike pitch. Grounded inside the bag at first. A fair ball down the right field line, as Swan will stop in at first with a 1-out single.
Now batting, number 20.
Verdi in right was able to quickly get to the line and throw it back in. As coming up will be Colton Esposito, who is 2 for 2 today with 2 runs scored. Betancourt delivers as that will get in front of home plate and now to the backstop, as the second will be Swan. That in the major leagues you would call a 58-footer, as that landed 2 feet in front of home plate, bounced over the catcher and to the backstop. So the go-ahead run at second for Georgia is Colton Esposito. Will take the fastball outside as that will get away and allows Swan to go into third. So a couple of wild ones allows Swan to move from first to 2-0. All it will take will be a single to give Georgia their first lead of the night. Good ball game throughout as the 2-0 swing and a line drive that will be caught over at short as the throw back to third as the ball gets away, but a game-saving catch over at shortstop by Perez.
Now batting, number 18, Devin Murphy.
Andy Perez with the highlight catch so far of the night as he dove to his left and made the catch. Devin Murphy can still give his team the lead as time is called. Jason Ogilvie, the head coach, discussing strategy as there is first base open and a runner at third. Got to watch for the wild pitch here, though. As a wild pitch can give Georgia their first lead of the night. Other games, field number 7 in the late game as bottom of the third, Alabama, Georgia knotted up at 4 in the Ozone World Series. Florida on their way to a win, up 7-0 over Louisiana, top of the third in the Ozone World Series. Betancourt will wind and deal outside on the fastball. 1-0. Colton Esposito almost gave Georgia the lead, but Andy Perez robs Esposito of an RBI single as the 1-0. Low for ball 2. Now with Perez in the field, you've got a backup catcher in there, so it becomes important for Betancourt to keep his pitches above the dirt as a pop-up gets into the seats foul right side. Two and one the count. Tied up at 3 in the 5th inning. Pitch gets away to the screen, but right back to the catcher as the runner will stay at third. However, the count goes to 3 and 1. Swan at third for Georgia. First base is open as the wind in 3-1. Swing and a chopper to the second. He drops the ball, and Georgia takes the lead as Swan will come home. In E4, as Murphy reaches with 2 outs, and Georgia takes their first lead of the ball game. As Florida once had a 3-1 lead. And now Georgia has scored 3 unanswered. As going to second on the play will be Devin Murphy. So Georgia will have a chance to win in the top of the 6th inning, but before that, Ty Metters will come up to the plate.
Now batting number 99, Ty Metters.
Metters singled in a run in the first and walked and scored in the 4th as time has been called. Time is called as he'll have a brief discussion off to our right. Gives us time to relay some other scores. DYB Majors World Series, Louisiana trying to finish off Texas. As Louisiana up by a score of 8-5 in the top of the 6th inning. The final from field number 10 as South Carolina shuts out Mississippi 17-0. So 2 outs. Georgia has scored a run. The Troup County National squad has the lead as the winner faces Alabama in the winner's bracket game tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Wind and the pitch. That misses with a fastball. 1-0. And we do have a final to report. We'll get to that momentarily after this 1-0. Overhead curveball is high, 2-0. Rafael Betancourt, the 3rd pitcher of the night, as Louisiana defeats Texas in the DYB Majors World Series 9-6. Count it 2-0. Pitch from Betancourt, swung on and missed on a late swing by Metters as the count goes to 2-1. Trey Cook is on deck. So Trey Cook will have out the ball game in the top of the 6th inning as the Betancourt fastball on the inside corner, 1-2. Runner at second base in Devin Murphy. Infield playing back at all positions except third. The wind and the 2-2. That sails inside. Going to third is the throw down and the tag in time to retire the side on a 2-5 caught stealing. Throw on left, but Morissette was able to corral it as the inning comes to an end. So for Georgia, they get a run on a hit with an error and nobody left on base as Georgia has a chance to win as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Florida needs a run to tie and 2 to take the lead as Georgia leads 4-3 through 5 on JockJive Sports. Florida fighting to stay in the winner's bracket as Georgia trying to hold on as they took their first lead of the ball game in the bottom of the 5th inning. We're in the top of the 6th inning as Georgia with a 4-3 lead. Colton Privet, Carter Ogilvie, and then the spot for Kyle due up. Florida needs 1 to tie and 2 to take the lead as Trey Cook will hit his first batter of the inning. Cook probably with some nerves coming out of the dugout. Hits the first baseman Privet. As Privet came into this at bat 0 for 1 with a walk, and now he's on base for the second time. Carter Ogilvie to the plate, who has walked and also singled. There is some rain off to our west, so we're trying to beat the weather and get this game in as well. A 90% chance of rain forecast for the next hour at 11 p.m. local time. Now it's 70%, so looks like it's going to be a rainy overnight. Also about a 40-50% chance of rain through the morning tomorrow. But we're in the top of the 6th inning as Carter Ogilvie to the plate. We'll have time called as now Ogilvie will step back in. Cook will wind. His curveball is high, 1-0. Matter of throwing strikes, and for Cook, he can't fixate himself on the situation at hand. The 1-0. Low with the fastball. Cook did a good job in the 4th inning, holding Florida to 1 lead. Kept them off the scoreboard in the 5th inning. 2-0 is high and away, 3-0. And this is a golden opportunity for Georgia to beat a more talented Florida squad. As the 3-0 right in there for strike 1. Runner at first base with nobody out thanks to a hit by pitch for Colton Privet. One fastball that's high for ball 4. So 2 runners are on with nobody out. As Ogilvie walks, as Kyle Maples will come to the plate as time is called. And the Georgia head coach Danny Swan will come out to the mound. This is a tough situation for Georgia because Florida can pretty much do what they want in this situation as Maples to the plate. A sacrifice could put runners at 2nd and 3rd as Christian Quinones is on deck. You can see the situation in front of you. Runners at 1st and 2nd. Nobody out as the first pitch fastball in there for strike 1. Runners at 1st and 2nd, the 0-1 in there for strike 2. So Trey Cook looks like a different pitcher from the first 2 at bats with a hit by pitch and also a walk. The pitch high on the fastball. The winner faces Alabama. The loser will play in the loser's bracket game at 5:45 tomorrow. Fastball high, 2-2. Trey Cook not wasting any time as he'll wind the 2-2. Swing and a foul ball out of play right side. Four to 3 Georgia holding on as we're in the top of the 6th inning to the lead. Swing and a pop up to the right side. That will be caught at first by Metters for out number 1. That's a big out for Trey Cook as the runners cannot advance. Privet still at second and Ogilvie at first for Christian Quinones. Tying run at second, go ahead run at first. Wind and the pitch. That's way outside as that'll get to the backstop as a throw will not be made. Wild pitch for Trey Cook as that'll be a 1-0 count on Quinones. The infield will play back, conceding the tying run for the second out. The 1-0. Swing and a miss at a fastball as Quinones had a mighty cut at that one. 1-1. One away. Time called as you'll have Booten, the third baseman, and also his shortstop Esposito and Murphy coming over from short and second as they'll have a brief conference with Trey Cook. Rain off in the distance, but we may be able to get this game in. 4-3 Georgia with the lead. The 1-1 in there for strike 2. Good location on the outside corner at the knees. 1-2. The pitch high with the off-speed pitch. 2-2. Jonathan Coppin is on deck. The 2-strike pitch, lined foul out of play right side. Quinones was late on the 2-strike pitch, but manages to stay alive in the at-bat. So we'll once again have a 2-2 pitch. This will be pitch number 6 in the at-bat between Cook and Quinones. The 2-2, tipped foul, just foul, as Gardner was not able to hold on to the pitch. High drama for field number 9 as this is the winner's bracket game in the AAA World Series. Georgia took their first lead in the 5th as the 2-strike pitch is swung on and foul tipped into the glove of Gardner. Another clutch strikeout for Trey Cook is found away from moving on to face Alabama tomorrow. Coppin to the plate as the pitch gets away to the backstop, coming home as the play to home is not in time as Florida ties it up at 4 apiece. To third will be Ogilvie as Privet comes down the line from third. Count at 1-0 as that will be a wild pitch, the second of the inning. So tied up at 4 as Georgia will have to score at least 1 if they want to win the ball game. But if you're Georgia, if you're Trey Cook, you can't fixate yourself on that last play because you've still got the winning run, the go-ahead run rather, still over at third. And you still have to find a way to get that third out. Pitch on the way, that's inside, that'll get away, but that's not far enough for Ogilvie to come down the line. On deck is Andy Perez. So the infield will go back with 2 outs. Time is called. Tough break for Trey Cook, though, as he was 1 strike away from closing out the ball game. The 2-1. The 2-0, rather. Now it's 2-1 on a called strike. Yeah, Georgia was 1 out away from closing it out, but a wild pitch ties it up. As we're tied up at 4, pitch will come inside, and that will hit Jonathan Coppin. Coppin in quite a bit of pain to our left of home plate. Fastball came in and hit Coppin, so there will be runners over at first and third as that came and hit him close to the knee. So Coppin will hobble to the bag at first base. Andy Perez to the plate. Now you've got to watch the double steal situation here. There's runners at the corners with 2 away. Florida has a chance to retake the lead after Georgia took their initial lead of the ball game in the bottom of the 5th inning. Only one other game going on right now in the AAA World Series. Arkansas and Lexington National going at it in an elimination game. Lexington leading 8-3 as they're in the bottom of the 4th inning over on field number 11. We're tied up at 4 as time is called.
Now batting, number 11, Andy Perez.
Andy Perez started out the game at catcher, moved to shortstop in the last half inning. We'll have a chance to give Florida the lead. Top of the 6th inning, runners at the corners. Wind, and the first pitch for Cook, that's high and in, as they'll allow the runner at first base and Coppin to take second. Don't want to risk the runner coming home from third in that situation, as it's 1-0 the count. Pitch, swing and a bouncer to Cook as he will knock it down and throw to first in time. As Florida scores a run in the 6th inning. They get a run on no hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. So we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Georgia needs a run for the walk-off win as we're tied up at 4 on JockJive Sports.
1 run, 2 walks, no 2 left on base. We're tied, 4 all.
One of the most exciting games of the tournament going on right now between Georgia and Florida. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, tied up at 4 as Florida scored on a wild pitch to stay alive in this winner's bracket game.
Now batting,
It'll be
number
Ty
99,
Metters, Trey
Ty
Cook,
Metters.
and also Trevor Booton. At the bottom of the 6th inning. James Hardy with you as Georgia needs just 1 run to secure a walk-off victory. The winner faces Alabama tomorrow night on field number 9 at 8 o'clock. We had a similar situation earlier today as North Carolina scored on a two-out double to left center to take a 2-1 decision over Virginia. Meadors will take the fastball for ball one from Rafael Betancourt. Wind and the pitch. High for ball two. The key for Georgia here is to get the leadoff batter on as a base runner at first. Wind and the 2-0. Fastball, that's a little bit inside. 3-0. Composure, the name of the game at this level. 9 and 10 years old in a close game in the Dixie Youth Baseball World Series. 3-0 the count. As you'll see, most likely the take sign employed for Meadors. Takes the fastball right down the middle, 3-1. Now, does he take the 3-1 here and try and draw a leadoff walk? Bottom the sixth, wind, and the Betancourt pitch. That's low for ball four. Leadoff walk for Meadors as he reaches base. Just the second time tonight that the Georgia leadoff batter has reached base. The job for Trey Cook here is to get the walk-off run to second base to get Meadors into scoring position. As Cook will take high for ball one. 5 of 6 pitches this inning for Betancourt have missed the strike zone. 1-0, that's low, 2-0. Florida has already used a trio of pitchers in this game. Melendez got the start as the 2-0 called a strike, just hitting the outside corner. Erwin Cabasa struggled in relief, and now Rafael Betancourt trying extras. The 2-1. Low for ball three. Similar situation to the Ty Meadors at bat. Runner at first base. This is a key pitch right here for Florida. You put 2 runners on and you put yourself in a dicey situation. Here comes the 3-1. That's the swing and a grounder back to Betancourt as he'll go to second for one, and the throw to first is way late, not in time. So that's Cabasa that came in the last inning at shortstop. That'll be a fielder's choice ground out, 1-6 on the putout. Meadors retired as Cook at first base for Trevor Boutin, who has an RBI single as well as a fly out to right all the way back in the first inning. The outfield for Florida looks as if they are going to play Boutin the pull. As time is called, as we'll have Ogilvie, the head coach for Florida. Not sure if he's going to discuss a pitching move here, as we'll have time called. There is a re-entry allowed. 1 re-entry per player per game. As now Ogilvie will go out and talk with our second base umpire. Recapping this ball game, both teams scored a run in the first inning as they were deadlocked at 1 after 1. And Florida scored 2 on an Erwin Cabasa 2-run homer to right center field to make it 3-1 after 3.5. Georgia tied it up at 3 with 2 in the bottom of the fourth. And Georgia scored on an error in the fifth to take their first lead at 4-3. Swing and a grounder. That will get through the first baseman Privet into right, as going around to third will be Cook, as he'll stop there, as going to second And sliding in there will be Booten. So Georgia in the catbird seat right now as the winning run is just 60 feet away at third. Give that an E3 as that was, albeit a hot shot to first. And also Privet had the difficulty of having to look through the runner at first then in Trey Cook. So time is called as this will be the second visit for the Florida coaching staff. Have a visit with the entire infield. Gives us an opportunity at another look at our scoreboard. This is the third day Youth Baseball World Series. Bottom of the fourth, 8-3 on field 11 for Lexington as they're leading over Arkansas in the AAA World Series.
Now batting, number 3.
All of the games in the majors are final. As Florida defeated Lexington, North Carolina over Georgia, Louisiana over Texas, and South Carolina shut out Mississippi. Cole Gardner has the chance to end this ball game as they'll go ahead and load the bases and intentionally walk Gardner. Smart move for Florida to go ahead and load the bases so they can have a force at every base. First base is open as that's ball 3. Check that ball 2. We'll have another customary pitch here. One more coming up. As we'll have time called. So the fourth of the intentional walk pitches has not been pitched yet. Rafael Betancourt still on the mound. As once we get done with the next 3-0, we'll have the bases loaded. So the bases loaded as Gardner will take his place at first base. C.J. Stevens will have a chance to win the ball game for Georgia. Tied up at 4, winner's bracket game. Winner plays Alabama. The loser will play the winner of Lexington National and Arkansas tomorrow at 5:45. Right here on field number 9. This has been a fantastic ball game between these two teams as the infield coming in. Betancourt winds and deals, swinging a foul ball back to the screen. That was a good pitch for Stevens to rip as he fouled it back right side. 0-1. C.J. Stevens was hit by a pitch and is also grounded out to first. You can bet any ground ball is going to go home in this situation. Outfield also coming in. 0-1. That's high. 1-1. So the throw back as they have the runner between second and third as the Florida infield doesn't want to take any chances as far as letting that go-ahead run from third to come home. Booten was halfway between second and third, but Florida basically let him go back to second. No harm, no foul is the 1-1. That'll come in, and that hits Stevens to bring home the winning run as Georgia takes it in the bottom of the 6th inning, 5-4. So coming home from third, Trey Cook has an anticlimactic way to end a great ball game here as C.J. Stevens is hit by a fastball at the back portion of his knee. but it's good enough as he takes one for the team and drives home Trey Cook as Georgia scores a run in the bottom of the 6th inning as they leave the bases loaded. There was an error in the inning as Georgia took the lead in the 5th inning 4-3. Florida tied it up on a wild pitch in the top of the 6th inning, but Georgia, give them some credit as they battled back and retook the lead. And they win the ball game by a score of 5-4 over Florida as Georgia will face Alabama in the winner's bracket game tomorrow at 8 o'clock on field number 9, while Florida will play at 5:45 right here on field number 9. The first of 2 games of the loser's bracket game going on right now on field number 11 between Lexington National and Arkansas. That was a good game, folks, and we were happy that you were able to watch it with us if you weren't here on JockJive Sports, as we'll be back with you. We still got 3 more days in this tournament, the quarterfinals, semis, and also the championship round on Thursday. So we got this one ahead of the precipitation, ahead of the rain. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. As Florida falls to Georgia 5-4 as Georgia wins in dramatic fashion. Had a couple of good games with you today. Hopefully we have a lot more left in the tank as we'll go ahead and say goodbye to our audience on JockJive Sports. We'd like to thank Robert Williamson and the rest of our JockJive Sports crew. James Hardy saying so long and a good night from the Palmetto State, where Georgia wins in dramatic fashion by a score of 5-4.